I get to ask the first question today. And my first question is for Brianna.
Hi.
What are some habits that we could try and break today to help create space?
What are some habits that we can try to break today? My first reaction to that question is that's not for me to say. Like, you have to do some self-discovery to figure out what habits are serving you and the people around you in positive ways and what habits are not. But I think one way that we do self-sabotage is focusing on to-do lists and goals and not necessarily how we're nurturing ourselves to make those things kind of automatic. So if I'm healthy and I'm in tune with myself and I'm appreciating myself, the things that I want to exist are a lot more likely to happen. They're a lot more likely to come through my life because I'm living a life with intention and with respect to myself and to other people. So I think that's one habit. I think we get in the race of what to do next, or so just trying to filter out the things that aren't serving you in positive ways and revisiting what's most important. Yeah.
Thank you. Do you all have any questions for each other? Put you on the spot. All right. Do we have some questions from Twitter? Not yet. Get on Twitter, you guys. Hashtag IFBG19. Raise your hand if you have a question.
I can't.
Huh? You got a question?
We can hear you.
Do I think I would be happier if I follow my original path? I really don't. Mainly because, and I wanted to mention this, but we only have like a little bit of time to present. When I made the decision to switch from an MD to getting a PhD, I realized that I wasn't too excited about medicine. Like, it was cool, and it was like, it came with money, and like, you know, you have a white coat, and people think you're like super duper smart. But I wasn't really passionate about it. And really the thing that actually got me through all those, you know, speed bumps and detours and all that was because I was really passionate about science and really passionate about helping millions of people instead of like hundreds of people. So, yeah. Thank you.
That's an awesome question. We at Fate Alliance, we try really hard to get into schools and work with different nonprofits. And so I think when teachers are able to, I know they have such difficult jobs, but really try to figure out who in the community, what resources your district might have to help get to know what organizations are going on. Because similarly to Aria's story, I mean, I thought I was going to go become a history professor, and then I jumped on political campaigns, and I just kept talking to people. And anytime something sort of like hit my gut the right way, I thought, okay, go learn more about that. And as students, just never stop asking questions, because you never know. I mean, I never imagined I would end up in Kentucky, and let alone like working for a nonprofit. But yeah, it's tough, and it can be overwhelming. But if you keep asking questions, I think that's one way to find a path. Hopefully that helps.
I will also just say nurture your students' interest. So, for example, if they're really interested in something, and they want to learn more, you know, encourage them to do that, and kind of emphasize that there really kind of is no path. There's no one path to anything. You know, you kind of just go through life and then you figure out, oh, this is cool, so I want to do more of this. And oh, now this is cool. So just kind of encourage them to follow their own path. So there's not like a one definition of the thing to do.
Yeah, I agree with both of those points. And then I'll also say, I think when we're young, permission is taken from us to do the things we like in the ways that we like to do them, in the ways that are natural for us. So I had something happen to me when I graduated, is somebody gave me permission to be an artist. They're like, okay, you have permission, go ahead. Like, and once that, like through nurturing and through being inquisitive, once that permission or that weight of, am I allowed to, or does this make sense, or is this realistic, or whatever the thing that is inhibiting people, once that goes away, the way students will naturally want to work based on what they're interested in will come to pass. Just like your journey, you know, all of our journeys, I'd say, of making this decision to change focus, you'll adapt to your life, you'll find your path. But first you have to allow yourself the freedom to do so, right? Life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, it's all right.
Okay, I'm the Twitter elf, and I have a question for all three of you. How has being women affected your process and what you do? How you've been able to accomplish what you've accomplished?
Okay. Well, I will say, let me pass it to someone else.
Okay, I'll take it. I think I'm the oldest in this group. So I would not have been, I would not have had the courage to say yes to so many different decisions had I not had a really great group of mentors. And it wasn't just mentors my own age who are experiencing life in the same way, but mentors of all generations. And I worked really hard to maintain relationships from folks in college and graduate school and all of my different jobs and different experiences. But having a group of people who are your cheerleaders. It's Galentine's Day today. One of my friends texted me this morning, so happy Galentine's. But having that tribe and having those people who remind you of yourself, because I think not just for women, for all of us, especially in a social media driven world, it can be really easy to feel like you aren't living up to what everyone else is doing, right? And we are constantly comparing ourselves. And I think that the moment that you stop doing that, you're gonna be able to find your true self and listen to your gut. And I wouldn't have been able to do that had I not had the group of mentors and friends.
Okay, I'm ready. So one thing I will say is as a woman, I was really preoccupied at the beginning with my family life and like kind of trying to prepare myself for marriage or to find a husband or something like that. And that really kind of impeded what I wanted to do because as you guys see, my journey was really, really long. So I kind of always had to put my academics first. And at first, it was kind of like a struggle because I felt like I had to choose between, you know, my passions and then like my desire to like have a family or like find a husband or something like that. So I will say that affected me, but I kind of got out of that when I realized that my purpose is for me to actually chase my passions. And like that's the first thing because first I'm an individual, I'm a human being, you know what I'm saying? So like I'm not someone's wife or someone's husband, or not a husband, someone's mom, someone's wife or someone's mom. And so the first thing is that you have to recognize that you're a human being and you know, you have your own passions as a human. And then after that, you know, all those other personal things will come when they come and it'll be easy. You won't have to decide, you know, what you want to do. I'm sure you know that.
Yeah, no, I do.
I was spoiled and I was raised by a lot of really strong women. So the idea of a woman not being able to be whatever she wanted, I had really strong role models that just wipe that off the table for me from the get-go. But I'll say, like there's a divine feminine and masculine that lives in everybody, like the balance of that. And being able to see strong women like take care of business and do like handling business and excelling professionally and taking on roles, and I mean, I don't know. I think it was just being a woman. I don't know. This is a really complicated question for me because one, I think that women are serving a role, especially right now, that had been stifled for a very long time, and I really think that it is something that's healing a lot of spaces. Just bringing that, like I said, divine feminine back into spaces, saying it's okay to be vulnerable, it's okay to be soft, it's okay to care, it's okay to show that you care, it's okay to show that you're hurt, and that that's not weakness, that's actual power, because to be that honest is probably one of the hardest things in the world, right? So I think the women that have shown me that is probably, you know, a big reason why I am the way that I am, and am so grateful for it.
Thank you. That's the end of our last question for this session. We're going to have a 15-minute break now. Just remember there's no food or drinks allowed in the auditorium.